Will do. Keeping on refreshing. Yeah, I'm already there on the live section, but there's nothing yet. No. Are you on the polygoniq channel or are you on your on a different YouTube channel? No, I'm like simultaneously on my phone and my laptop. Nothing yet. It's unlisted. Mm, no. I think there's also a delay of 20 seconds, so I will wait a bit. Ah, I just saw it and now it's gone. There it is. Okay, got it. Yeah, I think so. Welcome, everyone. Hmm. Yeah, unlocked. I like it. I like the house. It's a. I'm not really an architecture guy, but to me it looks nice. Uh, well placed to chill out outside. You have a nice garden. Not sure if there are not tomatoes in front. They look like tomatoes. Uh, yeah, yeah. True, true, true. Yeah. Then the pool is nice. I'm gonna go to the good and bad parts soon. Nice addition with the car. The interior looks nice. Yeah, ex yeah, exactly. If you if you go up, we have some clipping issues again. Yeah, or maybe it's falling down. You mean you could argue that the thing is falling down the one leaf. So maybe yeah. The tiles on the pool, I mean, I've never witnessed a pool with that giant tiles. Maybe it exists.
Hello.
Hi, hi. Um, yes, he's here, the man. Until we get him back. Also in the background, it feels like we're fading off on the left side behind the tree. There's like nothing. Like either we're on top of a hill, which could potentially be, but it looks like there's like the world just ends there, you know? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. True.
Okay, I'm here. Does my sound work?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, yeah, sorry for getting here a little bit late. So where are we at? Oh yeah, this one. This one was really great. Okay, so what did you already cover? Hmm. Also, might be yeah, it could be a problem with the glass material, like the normals, but it's also very likely that it's just a plane. Yeah.
Looking at the viewport render, it looked like it's just an image
Mhm.
on there.
It's a shame because like you could just change the image a little bit and it would fit better, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't really diminish the look of the render. I mean, I can see some flying leaves like on the right over
Mhm.
there. Like there's something going through. I'm not sure exactly what it is. And then like there's the wood here when you zoom in doesn't look exactly correct. Like it's very sharp, the edges, you know, on the wall. And also the window should probably have a bevel or something. Like the window frames, they just look like rectangles connected together. They don't really have geometry. And another thing is now that I'm looking at it, like down here, the tree there, I think it's going through the round, the pot.
Uh, yeah.
But, and actually above when you look on the railing, you can see like a huge point light reflected in the glass over there. So I was looking at it initially, and I was like, oh, there's too much reflectivity here. Maybe there's like clear code or something. But then I realized that it has to be the light. By the way, if you guys want to switch like the reflections off on these lights so they are not visible like through glass or in reflection, you can just turn off the multiple importance sample setting. Like in the light, there's a setting that's called multiple importance sampling, and if you turn it off, it stops being visible there. But yeah, then there's the white strips in the ceiling, I think it's probably a light. Like you see like the bright white strips, that's probably like an LED light, and it's below the ceiling. Yeah, but I don't know if like in real architecture it would look exactly like this. It's usually it's supposed to be usually like glass on top or like polycarbonate or something, so you would see a reflection, you know? It wouldn't just be a color, sort of. You would
Yeah.
also get a reflection more than this. But yeah, otherwise this is a very solid work. Like even the stones underneath us, like closer to us. I really like, oh, that's the shadow. I thought it's like, you know, there's stones somewhere and then there's parts where there are like known stones. Like one thing that would really improve this if you could see like the footsteps a little bit in the stones, like somewhere. But it's of course pretty darn complex to do
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the mapping is wrong there. Yeah, but this is like the sort of the image that when you look at it for the first time, it looks really, really good, actually. Like
Mhm.
really, really good. But like of course, like when you start looking closely, there's issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's quite normal. Like you can always like one way to do great renderings is actually this. You should check references, of course. Like there had to be references for this image as well. But like references of like the garden or like the
Mhm.
stones or like the houses and like how it would reflect and so on. And the interiors are really dragging this down. And also the reflection on the glass. If you look close, it's like blurred if you zoom in there. The reflection on the glass, you know?
Yeah.
And that's really no, like right in front of you on the right. Yeah, here. Yeah, all of these, all the black, like kind of. So that's really weird. Like glass doesn't reflect like this. It wouldn't be see-through if it did. So yeah, maybe let's move on. Let's just let's do a sprint. These things take too long. Let's go. Let's go. Hmm. Yeah, of course you are. So yeah, like this one. uh, mm, I'm not really liking the camera, and I think it's like over processed. I'm not liking that the assets that are scattered are almost the same height. There should be like scale randomness applied so that it's a bit random. Maybe even like having them grow on this side and then like on this side and then like over there.
Mhm.
And then like this scene is very like the problem is you don't really see the depth. You don't even see the background. Like for some reason, instead of sky, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like what is it? Is it a hill or is it like uh, like while that is possible, of course, it's just a little bit, you know, suspicious in a way. Also, I'm not really liking the polygoniq branch here there on the left. Yeah, that doesn't really look very good. Like not very realistic. I mean that's on us, but still there's ways how to circumvent it being so prominent in the image. And also the roof, I think that's not how roofs are done, if I'm not mistaken. Like this is a bit odd. Like it's oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, but also like roofs are not generally made out of wood because wood is not the best material when it comes to like withstanding the massive amounts of water and so on. Also, now that I'm looking at it, like there's wrong mapping or like wrong texture on the ends of the locks on the wall. Yeah. And overall, like this image could really use a much better composition. Like the camera is too zoomed in, and we're not like fixed in the space. Like why would we be looking from this angle? And yeah, I think there's like better angles. Yeah. Also, do I see like light on the second floor over there?
It's I think it's light, yeah.
Looks like there's light inside. So what's a bit of a shame is that like we've got so much sunlight, but then there's still light inside. And in reality, if you're looking at something like this, the light that's inside would basically not be visible. Like it would be so dim compared to the power of the sun.
Yeah.
So that's like another thing. And also I can see that like the interior is quite like I just noticed that the doors are open. And that's another like a little bit of a shame that like even though it's probably done to a certain extent, a view where it doesn't really show through. And the car is way too clean. We've got the slider for dust and or like even scratches and so on in traffic. So maybe that could have helped as well. There's a there's a lettering on the car on the back, right? If you zoom in there on the left, is there something written over there? If you zoom in, that's yeah, almost looks like but no, there's too much noise. No, but like otherwise it's a nice image, but I think it's just yeah, like needs and the composition is huge. Like that's the you know, like that's the alpha omega of the scene. Like you have to sort out the composition to be good. Otherwise you can create like almost the best looking 3D scene ever. And it's still gonna be a little bit weird because like of the reasons that I was listing.
I mean, you basically covered everything. The
Yeah,
only
yeah, because I'm in a rush.
okay,
So
that
let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
okay, let's move on. Yeah.
So this one I'll let you cover.
I mean, all in all, I like the exposure. That's the first thing that hits me. Like it's neutral, kind of, if you can say it in this way. Like it's not too harsh, not too low. Like just fits. You have some action going on with the birds in the background. You have a little boat also there. Seems to be floating above the water. I mean, you have details left and right. The house interior seems to be done actually in Blender and not looks like an image. A nice touch with the palettes in front, so you can actually go out, lie down, relax, you know.
Oh, the mapping on the wood is, or like the texture, the material is not very good. No,
Yeah.
not that. That's not even my biggest problem. My biggest
Yeah.
problem is that like it looks like a big smudge.
Yeah.
There's no definition. Oh, there's the Blender kitty over there.
Yeah, I
Also
wanted to
doesn't.
say
Yeah, the
that it was.
scale. I think the biggest issue here is the scale of everything. Like you
Yep.
see, like the scale is the biggest issue, and also, why would you be walking right into the water? I mean, it's nice, but like you know,
I guess you have a boat there The one that's
Yeah, but like if I had a boat there, I would probably pay someone to remove that rock. So
yeah,
there's like always these constant thoughts that need to run in the brain, like thinking about, like, just imagine
yeah,
you're standing there, you're the person who owns this building,
yeah,
and like yeah, I mean, but I'm all about the hyperrealism. Yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, I really like this one, to be honest. Like from far away, it's looking nice. I think maybe even just removing some of the details, the pellets, for example, are not, it's just a white kind of stain on the image. You don't really see the definition of it. It's if you zoom in on the pellets,
Yeah.
like it's yeah, it's not really it. But like what I would probably do, I would remove a couple of the elements and just focus on important aspects. And for example, the nature around looks really well, or
Yeah.
like really good. I mean, like I like it, and I like the different kinds of trees and how the rocks are placed. It's yeah, close to seas or yeah, like the low horizons.
Mhm. Yeah.
Let's move on then. Oh no, this has way too many issues. There's just yeah, the materials are an issue, the scale is the issue, the light doesn't fit, the sky doesn't fit, and the background is very blurred, and the beach over there looks nice. That's actually the beach is fine, but then the house. Whoa, what happened? Like, why is it all dark inside?
I just
Why are
clicked
all
on.
the
I
why
think
is
we
everything
lost
so
audio.
sharp? What?
I think we lost the audio. I just saw a comment on YouTube. No audio again. Not sure if whose audio is gone. I hear you also fine, but let me just check. Yeah.
Well, whose audio? We don't know that, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe people didn't hear me at all the whole time. That's also possible.
Let me check.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're checking all the time, because we're Czech.
yeah, I'm going back. No audio there.
Yeah,
Mm,
I think I need to start working then because maybe this is not really you know like if people don't hear us, it's a bit pointless.
No, it's back now, they say. It was
Yeah.
just the 2 minutes after you said that Michaela's nature looks nice.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Why would it happen?
I have no clue.
Well, maybe I was too harsh on this one. Yeah. So, well, this has got a lot of issues.
Mhm.
There's like the shadows are too dark. Like just take a look at any photo. If you have a sunlight of this kind, like the sunset kind, you will not have like completely pitch black interiors. Like there's something wrong going on there. Also, the swimming pool, like the tiles I don't know. They feel off, and they're not aligned in the corner vertically exactly. So it also doesn't really add to the perception of them. And then I don't know, but they somehow seem to be like on top of the surrounding mesh. But that's probably not true because I can't really know that for sure. But then, like, you've got other issues. You've got, for example, issues like people who would be on the edge of those walls would just fall off. And usually, on most places in the world, you can't really have it done like this because, like, people would get injured. So there usually either has to be like it has to extend into the like over the edge and have the steps going in the other direction as well, or then there needs to be a railing, or like there needs to be some sort of like vegetation or something like fill in the space so that people would not fall off. But what I was also saying earlier is that the sky is bringing it down a little bit, but it's not as bad as the building. Like the building is off when it comes to the materials, geometry, and how the light is hitting it. Like the all the edges are too sharp, you know? Like in reality you don't have edges this sharp. And for the bricks you should probably use displacement or something. But what I have to say is that the bricks are properly scaled. You
Yeah.
usually have this amount of bricks per floor. So that's correct. But then the steps, you see how sharp the edge is? And if you zoom in on the steps, it's super sharp, but the stones are completely randomly like shaped and like like they're round and so on. Do you know how much time you would have to spend to like have it like this sharp?
Yeah.
Like and also the reality is that usually the steps of this kind don't really are not really made out of this material. Like they're usually made differently, you could say. And then maybe like from a designer's perspective, it's a bit odd that, for example, then you also have the wall in the back on the left, like with the white grout. No, on the left bottom, like it's very low. Yeah, the wall on the in the back over there. No, in the back. You don't see it? It's on the left in the back. Yeah, almost. Oh, you still don't see it. It's like a little wall,
Yeah. A bit
like a
left.
little, not very tall on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. So, from a designer's perspective, you would probably expect if you're sourcing this sort of material, it would appear somewhere else as well. Like it would be used again. It would probably even go around the corner over there and actually act as a sort of the railing that we talked about a bit earlier. So that's another thing. If you zoom out, mm, it could also be somewhere over there on the right. But otherwise, the biggest issues here are, I think, the composition as well. I am usually doing wider lenses and closer to the building. I'm not particularly fond of rendering a building when like especially a villa of this kind and the building itself not being fully in the image.
Mhm.
I mean, it's fine, but here I'm kind of like, oh, if we would just extend it a little bit, we would definitely see the edge of the building. Like it's probably not that huge. And another issue is the pagoda on the back, or like the wooden something. If you zoom in, I think this wouldn't stand a chance when it comes to wind. Yeah, the wind would just completely destroy this, like strong winds, because there's no, you need to uh, I don't remember the exact English word for it, but you need to have like a something that holds it in place in other, like you can't just have the knuckle joint or like the edge of it to hold the entire power of the wind, because these things usually have a problem that the wind is like lifting them from below, so it would just fly off. Yeah, possibly even hurt someone. Hopefully not. But like the building is so like I don't know. I'm just afraid of walking in it because like it's completely pitch black dark. I don't see anything anywhere. But I think that's like everyone is starting from somewhere, obviously. So like there's that's my feedback from like my life of doing quiz. Maybe like wasn't the intention, you know. Uh, some of the things I said that like the original intention was different, and that's completely fine. But just my 2 cents. And also one last thing I just noticed: there's another little step. If you zoom in, there's right on the edge of the building. Like the building itself has another edge. No, just the building itself has like a step, like a little step.
Way on the bottom.
Yeah. So this is something no one would ever want to have, right? Like why would you do it? Like you can have it completely flat. Doesn't make sense to have another step there. It's not necessary. Yeah. Either the building should be lower or the platform should be higher. And another thing, I think the steps are way too high. Yeah. The steps should be like 16 to 18 centimeters. And this looks like 20 something. I'm not sure exactly, but it's yeah, last step is lower. But maybe let's move on. I think we've covered this one adequately. They are. Oh my. Even with the wooden, does this really hold up in the wind? Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, there's a repeating texture over there. Yeah, I can see now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That can be fixed too. Hmm. Yeah. I wonder why it's so black. Yeah, but let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Was his Easter eggs. Yeah. I think, Adam, I would let you go ahead again because you have the most
Yeah.
experience with Arquis.
Okay. So yeah, the garage, pitch black. Why? And the entrance, there's like an edge on the wall. Left from the doors, there's like black, spots. The vertical, like the black spots. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's fine. Maybe it's like dirt. But then again, why is it only here? That's odd. And like overall, yeah, it's just weird, man. Like grass doesn't grow like this. There's, I think also this is using the AGX color transform, which I've actually found out to be like, well, not real enough. It's just changing something in the image. The images are slightly more orange hued, and like the blacks are sometimes very black. And like what I found works is playing around with gamma, the gamma setting, and having it be filmic, and like you can raise gamma higher and you can lower the exposure, and sometimes you can just get it right, the colors. But let's move on. Like there are things that are really, yeah, not like professional when it comes to the image. I would say no, the model, like from a model perspective, this is not wrong. I'm looking at the scales and thinking in my brain if it's correct, but I think it could be like this. Like the garage doors are low, but I think it's reasonable. It can look like this. But then like the shadows, like what the heck is happening with the shadows? How is it possible that like we have a shadow on the garage from the front, but then we have another shadow from the right on the building? It's almost looking like we've got dual, like duality of suns, you know? And that could be a nice thing. I wonder how it would feel if like two suns were like, you know, can you imagine the amount of sunscreen you would have to use? But like in 3D, it's just weird. Yeah. So I think there's an issue with this. I don't think it's a reflection. I think there's like two different sources of light from different sides, and it's really bringing the scene down likely. Another thing, there's the lens flare and like the glow on the top right. Just get rid of these things until the image is perfect. Like that's probably not what you want to do. I like the robot on the fountain. That looks very realistic. And then like the image in the back is blurred, but that's like fine. But if you want it to like be correct, it can't be blurred. You would have to use depth of field, but then like you would like that's yeah not what you want to do with the rest of the scene. What's looking good are the trees behind the building. I think they fit. I don't, I don't see many issues there. Yeah, but like the entrance like path should have a displacement of some sort or something going on. Uh, you know, and these things are clean when they're new, so I'm not usually like, but maybe just like tracks, like tire tracks a little bit, or like just like darker something. But no, I'm mostly annoyed by the displacement, and also now that I'm looking at it, there is depth of field, so maybe that's the issue because I can see it on the flowers now. But the image in the back is probably an image. I think it looks way too complex to not be an image.
Yeah, you can also take an HDRI and just blur it, and I think this
The
was
flowers,
okay.
the flowers in the garden are again not very like no, I mean on the right. The ones on the left, I think could be fine, but the ones on the right don't look. You know, it looks like they're social distancing in a way. Like okay, I'm here, then like
Was
you're there,
COVID.
you're there. Usually, or like even people who create these sorts of gardens, they would create something with a little bit more, you know, like thought or composition of the garden or something. I think here it would really help to take a look at some references and just try to recreate it. And you will be surprised as you're doing it, it will just start looking right, like correct, you know? And the last thing I was mentioning it a bit earlier that like the composition is bringing this down. The issue is that you usually want to have the building or like the center of the focus, which is usually the building in our quiz. You want to have it centered vertically, not necessarily horizontally, but like vertically, you want to have it centered, or you want to have more sky. Rather, having more sky than more of the, you know, like the grass or like the path and so on. It just looks better. I don't know why. It may be because you don't feel like you're looking through binoculars on the image. And also, as I was saying before, I don't know why people do this. You should just have a wider lens. I don't know which one this is, if it's like 30 millimeters or something, but like 20 is completely fine. Just make it 20, rotate it a little bit, look from the right direction, and you can shift the camera's perspective with the Shift X and Shift Y in the camera settings in the properties tab or like the properties window. And that usually helps a lot. And well, yeah, looking at references, that's like extremely important. Of course, after a certain amount of time, you will get the hang of it and you will just know like what's right, what's wrong, sort of. But until you do, just do photos. Like don't really try to like come up with the building and the garden and everything and the nature around, like whatever, just take a look at a photo, mix a couple of references together and just watch it become hyper real. So let's move on. Our quiz. Okay. This one
think
is
I
good.
actually have him in the chat also, if he wants to talk.
Hmm?
We also have Diego in the chat with us, if he wants to give some
Mm-hmm,
insights into
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
his render.
Yeah, but I'm driving. I'm traveling right now, so I can speak a lot.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I can listen. That's fine. Well, I would shift it upward a little bit, mainly also because of the sky. As I'm saying, it just looks better if you have more sky. But like, there's lots of stuff I like about this. Like the atmosphere is good. It might be a little bit overdone. I think in reality we would have yes the reflection. Yeah. Like in reality we would have it a little bit different. I think the coniferous trees on the right, given the light, they are way too bright. Wow, that actually rhymed. You know, they are just way too bright. They should be a bit darker. I mean, it feels off, especially if you look at the river. That's like pitch black almost at some places. Like the shadows between the trees would be dark. They wouldn't be this bright. I don't believe it. And then there's like a sharp edge in the water. Like I can see like a sharp edge. Yeah. And also there's like a circular going like sharp, sort of I can see like a line that's like going from the sharp edge below, like on the yeah. I mean it's no a little bit to the left, down. Yeah, this exactly this. Yeah, that's like oh, it's the lens flare. Fuck. Oh, sorry. I should not swear, yeah. But like, I really hate lens flares. Like they should only be there when they're supposed to. And I'm not sure if like this is the case. Uh, the tree on the left. I mean, honestly, it would be a better image without it. But if it's, of course, if it's on the plot, it should be there. It's reality. Then I really like the foreground. So like every time I'm not like commenting something, it's because I'm fine with it and it looks good. That looks actually great. The background on the left looks a little bit off, but I don't know what it is. So but it's like I don't know what it is. It's really hard for me to like pinpoint what I don't like about it, but it's something, yeah, it's just like not believable in some way. But since I can't really describe it, probably not a valid comment. Well, when it comes to the building, there's like those two bits of grass in front of it on the left, and they're bringing it down for me a little bit. I would probably just try to get rid of them. And even like I would even like cut down more of the grass around the building because probably someone who would be living there would be keeping that in order. I don't know what the facade material is, but the bevels on it look too large. But like, of course, someone could build it like this. But you know, it's a bit, yeah. And the chairs are nice. I would just probably not align the right one exactly like the edge on the wall because it looks connected in a way a bit. So I would just move it a little bit so it doesn't, yeah. And then again, the interior is all like pitch black. But in this case, I'm not that bothered about it because like it's possible that no one is home and the interior is like dark, like black walls or something because the entire house is black. So it would look like this. In the other case, I didn't like the black interior because it looked like there's so much sun that like it wouldn't be possible. But here the fire is an issue. I don't get it. Like I think the reflection is even like stronger than the fire. And it just I think in the reflection it would be weaker. There's something like maybe there's clamping going on. Like you've got clamp direct, clamp indirect. So maybe the fire is super strong, but it doesn't show up directly, but it shows up only in the reflection or something. That's a possibility. And if you zoom in close to the fire, do I see like steps, like platforms? Oh, okay. So we see through that. That was a bit. I thought it's some sort of a bug at first. But yeah. So then the fire, yeah, usually where there's fire, there's people. But like the house is empty by the looks of it. So that's a bit suspicious. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's a good render. I like the background on the right, the high volcano kind of mountain, and I think it fits. Really? Interesting. Yeah, everything is subjective.
And I personally like the one with the orange sky because he showed the progress and there was the orange sky. It wasn't that dark before.
Hmm.
And that was something I liked more than this. Mhm. Flipping. Not sure if he has time while he's walking or taking the public transport.
Hmm? Yeah, this one I was feeling a little bit like it's overcrowded. Like it's like we're trying to show way too much. Also the scale. Like I can see a sports car next to the garage over there. And I just presume that like the garage is like connected to the path. But the path doesn't look like, no, I mean the other one. Yeah. Yeah, the road. But the road doesn't look, you know, that the car would be really very happy about traveling on it. It just looks like it's like curved. Yeah, like it's got issues. It should be, if it's supposed to be realistic, it would probably be just like flat, completely even with like maybe lines on the sides. I don't know. And then the rocks. The rocks that are like placed everywhere. There's like some rocks which are rotated. Yeah, this one, for example, that you have your mouse on. It's like rotated into the terrain, but in reality, these are usually like flat and they still show the stratical, I don't like the stratas. But of course, it's possible that like something chipped off and it like fell down like this. But especially when you're using multiple assets of the same geometry, these things then show up like the brain somehow subconsciously notices it. And then again, the building looks, I don't know, like looks like something from an airport in a way. We don't see it in the interior, it's completely empty on the top floor, and the bottom floor is empty as well. So that's a bit weird. And also the top floor, what purpose does it serve? Like it's completely glazed, like there's glass from almost all the sides. So it's probably, like that's why I'm reminded of the airports, like the control towers. And like hmm, hmm. What I like this is the funny thing about the scene, yeah. I think I would seriously I would be able to create like a couple of renders of some of the parts which would look like really good. But when you see everything together, you can just see the discrepancies or like how it doesn't align together. Like it's not like you can see the scale is a bit weird at places. And yeah, I'm just also, if we would just remove all the man-made or woman-made uh, objects in the scene, it would probably look better in this case, because then like the scale is a bit uh, easier. Otherwise, yeah, they're evenly spaced. Hmm. Also, again, many of these images, what would really help is some sort of post-processing. I mean, some of them had a lot of it, but I mean the colors. Like, just take a photo of reality, like similar reality to what you're creating. Just like, I mean, house and a garden, the same light. Okay, good reference. Just place it next to render and then try to fine tune the colors of the trees, of the grass, of the sky, of the building itself, of the wood. I don't know. Like just try to, for example, this one actually has it pretty correct. I mean, this one is not, doesn't have the problem. But some of the others, if you look at the greenery, not this one, if you look on the right, this one also has this one, for example, the Webo. If you look at the greenery, the greens are not green. They're like, that's what the AGX is doing, and it's wrong. It's just a bit like orangish, sort of yellowish at places, and like desaturated at other places. And yeah. This one has problems with the sun, so it could be caused, like parts of it could be caused by that as well. But it's nothing you can't really fix with post processing. You can just like play around, like camera raw in Photoshop. You can change the saturations, the lightness, the hues of all the colors. So you can be like, I would like the greens. In this case, it would maybe be orangish, oranges, oranges. Oh my god, I never said that
Orangish.
word. I guess oranges. No, oranges. Yes, oranges. Yes, it's like the fruit. Uh, and it's a bit off. The color, like it's no. What I said, like oh yeah, what I meant is like you select the oranges, and then you can change them to be more green. And since you might also get the wood, although in this case, yeah. But like all I'm saying is just take a photo, take a look at your rendering, and just try to fine tune the colors, the contrasts, and so on, the hues and the saturations so that it matches as closely as possible. Yeah, I think I need to go. But yeah, I mean, this has been interesting.
What
Like
do you think are the top 3?
the top 3 should be quite easy to do. I think that's the Diego, Michaela, and Bergelmir. Those are definitely the top 3. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. I'm all about hyperrealism, and that looks like a good architectural visualization. And you've got the, here I wasn't commenting on the flowers. Did you notice on the garden? Because it's spot on. It's like exactly how it could be. Like this is what someone would do, like a professional gardener. It's something you could see with your eyes somewhere, like in a botanical garden. But the image next to it looks like, if I can say it, like a cheap daisy, kind of poster. It's not believable for me. It's over processed, and the composition, yeah, it's what we were mentioning earlier. And for example, the Mikala render, it looks realistic from far away. That's also something that's like a good thing. If you zoom out and we take a look at all the, you can see on some of them, you can still see it's a visualization or like 3D. But on the ones that I picked as the best ones, you can see that they look like a photo. Like you would not be able to say from this far away. I might have, yeah. Yeah, I just didn't like the white thing on the palettes. Like, I like it. I just don't like how it looks in the render. And yeah, that's bringing it down for me a little bit because like, without it, you would see the shape of the building better, I think. Hmm. Oh, it's got good colors. It's got good colors, yeah. And what was the theme, the topic? I'm sorry, but
It was in general architectural oasis. What I had in mind, maybe I didn't really specify it enough. It's like something that you could present to kind of sell the house, But in the end, it was basically just given to an architecture, like a house or a building with some nature scene in it. So that was the preset.
okay.
And if you look at the standpoint of if you want to use this image to sell this place, then yeah, I think the top 3 are perfect this way. If you go that route.
Yeah. Well, some of those weren't that much about the architecture, but yeah, I mean it's nice entries. I hope the commentary was helpful. Like I prefer not to hold stuff back, too much because I think it's rather better to hear it like straight on than like be like, oh, this is nice, this is nice. Yeah, it's just maybe this, but this is nice, this is nice. No, I would rather like hear like what to fix, and what's the biggest issue. So I would try to be honest.
Yeah, and it was nice. I also wrote down 2 or 3 stuff that you mentioned about the lights and something else. I wrote it down. I didn't know before, so it's good to have heard that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe one last thing, because I noticed there's issues with the light in some of the renders. So I would just say that like Nishita is a very good sky texture. Like it's very useful and looks very real. Oh. Yeah. So I would just recommend anyone who wants to try, like, you can really go very real with Nishita. Of course, HDRs are fine as well, but they also take lots of VRAM.
Yeah.
So that's something just I would like to mention. Yeah. I'm sorry for coming a bit late.
No worries. Have a nice one.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.